does not fuck smash my door.
Come on, Charles, don't do this.
Is that a bad word?
Christian Aguilera, hi. The X at the end.
You fucking look like rock stars, huh? And now we are a fucking bunch of wanko.
Michael, this is Toto. Can I just send you an email? No, Michael, that was so not right. Sorry, we went car racing.
Take two.
My coat was too noisy, apparently. Welcome to the Formula One podcast for Formula One fans that don't care that much about actually anything that happens in Formula One. It's 3 pre.
Right, so we've got 2 of the pre's this week. One pre me and one pre Ben. We did, like Ben just said, we had to re-record it because Ben had a really noisy coat on. It was rustling around and it sounded horrible. So here we are, 2 of the pre's. And this week we're going to be speaking about the Brazilian Grand Prix, which actually, mate, you're still rustling. You have to sit really still on this podcast because you're making...
I don't know why it's rustling. I can't hear the rustling.
All right, well, we'll listen back at the podcast.
If it rustles, are we going to be saying Russell a lot in this
Here we are,
podcast?
yeah.
Just to get practice saying Russell.
So I reckon that at the end of last week's Grand Prix, that was the Mexican Grand Prix.
Yeah, very boring.
I actually was thinking I might stop this podcast and not be into Formula One anymore because it was so boring. And I thought to myself, if I just hype myself up into something that I don't actually like. And then the Brazilian Grand Prix come along and captured I was. The sprint race, everything about it. K-Mag, the moment of excitement for Haas.
Qualifying was exciting, wasn't it? It was like, fuck, it's raining. Oh my God, what are they going to do? And then they all went out on slicks and Charles Leclerc didn't go out on slicks. He went out on inters. Helma's the only one out on inters? Like, yeah, mate, sorry. And then they all came in and, did they all get a lap in on slicks? Yeah. Oh, and he just defeat in his voice. And they went, who's P1? Kevin Magnussen. It's like, oh, fuck's sake.
When Haas was celebrating because of K-Mag's pole, which was not a pole, the pole for a sprint race, they were acting like he'd actually won the championship. It was the biggest deal ever. And I thought, how long is that going to last for? And what was it, like one lap?
One lap. He did win like a tyre, though. A commemorative tyre.
What?
So
You've got a commemorative tyre too.
I have got a commemorative tyre. Mine's older than his, though. He's got a brand new tyre. I'm going to put that as like, I was once on an F1 podcast, because that's just as impressive as K-Mag getting pole for the qualifying sprint. Which meant nothing.
What's your view on sprint races now?
I like the sprint race because it's kind of exciting, but I just don't like the fact that we get a qualifying for that when I think, like I said before, I think we should determine the F1 sprint race should start in reverse order of the championship, because then at least it kind of is exciting. Whereas the sprint race is just like qualifying and then they race and then they do another race. It just feels pointless.
But have I maybe misremembered this? Have all the sprint races included all the cars?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, the sprint race should only be the top 10 cars. Like if you go out in qualifying, you don't go through to the third qualifying or whatever, when they keep relegating people. Yeah. I think you're out. You're done. That's where you are. And then the sprint race should be just 10 cars, because that would be more exciting that there's only 10 cars on the track.
I think, like I've said before, I think the sprint race should be in reverse order of the championship, because then at least we've got the bottom cars, the top cars.
Mate, imagine Latifi every week on pole.
God. He was 35 seconds in the sprint race. He was 35 seconds behind the next car. And he would have been dead last if Alex Albon hadn't retired. So he was 35, in 25 laps, he would then manage to get 35 seconds behind the car in front of him. Not 35 seconds from the leader. He just...
Well, he's only got one more race of his career.
He needs to do something exciting in that race. I think he needs to set fire to himself so he can at least get a reason for being in Netflix.
Wish someone's going to burn to death. He would actually get some good airtime.
Just go, pay attention to me.
Well, like the 3 seconds that Thingy was in the car when Netflix
Yeah.
made it look like he was in there for about
For
3
a
hours.
whole episode. Yeah.
It was just going. I was like, "Hey, geezer's could definitely be dead. He's been in fire for about 20 minutes." And then when I googled how long it was about 12 seconds. I was like, "For fuck's sake!" I thought he was in there for hours.
Yeah. They couldn't get him out, but he just got out and he was not on fire anymore.
So before we talk about the race itself, some bits that went around it that I noticed. Did you see the promo thing in Vegas?
Oh my God. It's so American, wasn't it? Let's do a countdown to something not happening. Like a countdown
did
to
you
like
see-
the launch of it.
Did you see Russell and Hamilton on stage talking?
No, it
It
was
was
just, I
so
was getting
funny.
so annoyed with it.
They went, oh yeah, it's Vegas, so it'll be really. Wait, what was that noise? You got like background people.
No. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't hear
I
anything.
think you might have ghosts. in
We
your
have
room.
got
It sounded like
ghosts.
someone went. "Arr," that's what it sounded like. Oh, while I
might be
remember
your
on
end.
sounds, while I'm completely jumping around topics, I was on a call with someone the other day, and I had like a magazine on my desk, and I threw it over to the other side of my desk. Guess what happened?
Set off like the
No, it set off Hamilton. It did that. It hit the button. Anyway, so Hamilton and Russell were in Vegas, and they were standing on stage, and they were asking what they think a Grand Prix is going to be like. And then George Russell started this little skit thing between him and Hamilton, where he went, "Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be like, I'm just hoping I'll be able to get some tigers and steal them from Mike Tyson." And then Hamilton went, "Yeah," and then I'll probably fall asleep on the top of Caesar's Palace. And then they went through the entire storyline of Hangover 1, but made it Formula. But didn't even adapt it to Formula 1. They went, "Yeah," and then I'll probably get a tattoo on my face. And it was like, okay, yes, we get it. The Hangover, Vegas, and then they just kept doing it, and it was like, okay, that the first
long
bit
did it
wasn't
go on
funny.
for?
Oh, like easily a minute of them talking about the storyline of the Hangover, and then Russell did some laps and then nearly crashed his car, and they put UV lights on the bottom of his car so it looked all like Vegas-y. And then I was like, they should always have UV lights on Formula 1
They
cars.
should, yeah. I saw the picture. I think it does look cool. I just think that Vegas thing is going to like get a bit tiring after a while. That Vegas Grand Prix, just like, but you know,
What do you mean? It'd be amazing.
it'd be amazing for like, but when you're trying to watch it, you're like, and then now how the commentators are going to be so boring on those races. Again, as we go down the strip here at Vegas, you can see to your left there's the Bellagio. They'll just talk. I think they'll spend the whole time talking about and the DRS gives you an extra 14 kilometers as you go past the.
I don't think
Caesar's
it's just going to be
Palace.
the Vegas Strip. I think it will have.
Oh
some
no, but there
corners
will
in it.
be. I think that's going to be the DRS zone. It's going to be the Vegas strip.
Did you see the
Sky Glass customers can see Caesar's Palace cam.
Did you see they have actually done a Grand Prix in Vegas before. It was at Caesar's Palace. It was behind it. And Martin Brundle, I think Martin Brundle raced in it, or maybe he was involved in it. But he was basically saying it was the worst race ever. Like the track made no sense, and he hated it. So he really teed it up for huge success.
Oh, I'm very excited. What we need is 3 American Grand Prix.
It's going to become
3
like
Grand
the
Prix in America.
American. It's just going to become NASCAR.
Yeah,
They would just have the whole thing there.
that'd be fucking
So-
bullshit.
So the race.
The race.
What did you think?
I mean, should we talk about the sprint? Like how it happened? Like the sprint was pretty boring though, wasn't it? Really, when George Russell.
The only
got
thing
to
in
the
this,
front.
well, no, the sprint. The only notes I've got from the sprint was what's his face being a little brat, pulling out on Vettel.
Oh,
Stroll.
Yeah, he did it on the race as well.
Yeah, he got a little sulky pants, didn't he? And moved out in front of Vettel and
Yeah,
did push him on the grass.
There was a lot of sulky pants in the race towards the end as well, wasn't there? A lot of drama. But yeah, the race. I thought the race was very good. The Russell got away quick, and then Danny Rick, he fucked it up for him and K-Mag.
He did.
Proper fucked it up. I mean, he just nudged him a little bit, but then he got like some instant karma, and K-Mag spun around and whacked him out. Like, and that's it. I think that's Danny Rick over now.
So is he definitely not coming back next season?
He's definitely not coming back. But everyone's been posting on the old F1 Twitter going, it looks like Danny Rick might have a seat for next year at Red Bull. Now Sergio's going to be like dangerous. It's going to be dangerous with Sergio. I reckon they'll have to get rid of Sergio now.
Why?
Well, that's what people are saying because him and Max don't get on, and obviously Max needs a teammate that's on side for next season. They're probably
why don't they get along? Do you know?
Well, apparently it all goes back to Monaco. So Sergio crashed out, bumped into the wall, and they red flagged it, and that's why Sergio ended up on pole. And Max ended up third, and then obviously can't really overtake at Monaco. That Max has still said he's never going to. Max apparently has said he won't help Sergio now because of that, and that's why he wouldn't help him and give the place back. But
Sergio's helped him loads.
I know
in different races.
It's made Max look like a massive child and everyone's going for all those Max fans out there. I've been on F1 Twitter a lot this week. Now I've got Twitter.
Well, you joined Twitter just to get on the. You were like, I've got a Tesla, and what else does Elon Musk do? Well, I need some.
Yeah, so I'm going to space, and I've got Starlink as well.
I was about to say I've got Stargate, and I was thinking, what's Stargate? I was like, and that's a port into another dimension, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he's got that as well. Elon did that. That's all Elon. So I was on Twitter. And everyone's like, for all those Max fans out there, this shows his true colours. I bet you don't like him now. I was sorry, did anyone else think that Max wasn't a petulant child? Of course he is. He's a Formula 1 driver. They're all out for number one. None of them are out there to look after their teammates.
Well, you think George Russell's the new bad guy of Formula 1?
He is the bad guy. He is a bad guy.
How is he the bad guy?
I'm happy he won, though. It's nice that he got a win. Because he's just so fucking annoying.
That doesn't make him a bad guy. That makes him annoying.
He's just annoying. I just don't like him. That's it, really.
I was thinking about when he got his, spoiler alert, in case you're tuning in to find out what happened, he did win. But when he won and they showed the trophy's pretty big, right? Like big. And I thought to myself, how many of them has Lewis Hamilton got? He's got 108. 103 of those massive
plus all
trophies.
the other podiums he's got as well. So he's got 300 podiums in his career.
What do you reckon he does for the trophies?
Bins them.
Do you reckon he just?
I reckon he's got a swimming pool in his back garden that's empty, and it's just full of shit trophies from racing.
He gets back, and at the bottom there's just all his karting trophies from a kid, and they're just building up a few championship ones here and there. I thought to myself, what would you do with them after a while? Because the first few would be obviously really special, but once you're up to 300 or something, you go, oh, it's just another one of those stupid trophies, and they're not. I mean, they probably are worth something. Memorabilia, I'd sell them. I'd do an OJ Simpson and sell them, and then years later go and commit armed robbery to get them back.
Lewis Hamilton's got 188 podiums in F1, so he's got 188 trophies just lying about.
But they're not all that size, though. They vary in size based on how good they are. They do vary in size.
Some of them are absolutely monstrous in size. Some of them are quite small. Yeah. Max Verstappen's only got 74.
Well, I thought the race was amazing. And I couldn't believe I was watching it, and I was like, actually, we're only 30 laps in.
Yeah. Well, lap 7, we had Max and Lewis came together on the restart. Mm-hmm. Norris knocked Charles Leclerc into a wall that I thought, well, he's out. And he came back and came fourth.
Yeah, that was actually pretty impressive. When he hit the wall, really I thought, well, that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
But it would look worse than it was, didn't it?
Yeah. That's those new wall things that they've got. What those that just pop out. They're like
big memory foam pillows.
Yeah, memory foam walls. That's what the truck drivers sleep on in the evenings.
What?
Him to come back from there, but then he kind of showed his true colours as well, and he's like, "Come on, can I get the place? Can I get the place?" And then, from Carlos, who's going to get a podium. Bear in mind, he's got very few podiums in his career. He's trying to steal that podium off of him, but
he's joint points with Perez at the moment, right?
Yeah, they're both on 290 going into the last race. So which makes the last race quite fun.
So if they had let Yeah, so they both were mugs then, because if Verstappen had let Perez through, he would now be higher in the league. So Red
Yeah.
Bull would be 1 and 2. No, 1 and
Yeah,
3.
it would be 1 and 2. Yeah. Well, they're 1 and 2 at the
One and,
moment. Well, they're
oh,
they're 1
okay.
and joint
But
2.
only because yeah, and then if they'd let Leclerc through, then they would have been ahead.
Yeah.
Like selfish
But Ferrari
people.
apparently didn't give Carlos the message. Ferrari were like, nope, he's getting that podium. So, but Ferrari they make me
I
laugh.
didn't pass on the message. I'm sorry.
They just imagine if they went and go, Carlos, let Charles through, and he goes, this is still Charles.
Yeah.
Sorry, let Charles through. This is no, it's still Charles. You're pressing Charles again.
I didn't realise that Max and Thingy didn't get along. I thought Perez
I
was,
thought they were
was a
friends.
bit of a dude.
Yeah, I love Perez.
I can't
He's my
imagine. I can't
favourite.
imagine Max getting along with anyone.
No, he's just it strikes me as just a really like not a nice guy. He's someone that you go to the pub with and you're like, oh, he's here, but you just invite him out because he's been your mate for years. I think it's like that.
Yeah, we've both got a few of those.
Yeah, just like, oh, well, we've got to invite him. Or
So
he's just there.
Latifi, I assume I can't even remember. Latifi come as last as he possibly could whilst
because of the
completing the race.
DNFs. Yeah. Latifi came last person. He was the last person driving around the track, and he was 37 seconds behind 15th place. So he was 16th.
And what do you think based on the performance of last night going into next season? Because obviously Mercedes had the start of the year where they had pretty fucked up car. So had they have not had that bit at the start of the season,
I think we still could see Mercedes win come second in constructors, because Ferrari don't do themselves any favours, do they? So I think we're going to have Perez in second place, Mercedes in second place constructors after Abu Dhabi.
And when do we find out if people move? So if Perez does move, is that between seasons usually?
It's just open, isn't it? They don't have. It's not like football where they have a transfer window. They can just go. So it could be up until like the start of next season, and they can swap them mid-season as well, can't they? Because like Gasly and Thingy swapped a couple of years ago. Yeah,
I've just noticed you've got a new Formula One hat on.
Like
where'd you get that
I had
from?
it last week as well.
Did you?
This is
like
official.
camo.
This is an official. This is all I can see is a floating AMG on my screen.
an empty head.
Yeah, some headphones on top of it. Yeah, this is official. I saw Lewis wearing it in Austin. I was like, I want that Stone Cold Steve Austin Formula One hat.
Well, did you go and Google it?
It was just on the Mercedes website, on the Mercedes AMG website. I was like, getting it, and it came. Someone, another member of this podcast waited like 7 weeks, 8 weeks for his official merch. Mine came the next day. I had to go get it. I was like, I thought I was going to wait weeks for it.
Do you reckon that's because Ferrari are boxing up their own merch before they send it out?
Yeah, I reckon they've gone, oh no, we've sent all our merch to the wrong place.
Probably.
Yeah.
And what was going on with
country.
I couldn't work out what the hell was going on with Yuki Tsunoda's lapping thing.
Oh, so he was on the safety car. There's one lap before the safety car comes in. The lapped cars are allowed to unlap themselves, but because that track's so short, by the time he got to where he needed to be, he just pulled in because he's got nervous. Whereas Latifi, for the first time ever, overtook every single car. I don't think it looked really good. Someone's posted a video on Twitter going, here's Latifi overtaking Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari. And it's just where he's unlapping himself in the safety car.
Oh, bit of breaking news if you're interested.
Oh, breaking news.
Breaking news. This is from a reputable source as well. Do you know the Haas news?
No, I don't. I've not looked at the news today because...
So apparently... according to, let me just credit the source, motorsport.com, which I'm assuming with a domain name like that, they probably don't put out loads of fake news. Haas set to Well, I'm going to go with this is 100% true. Haas set to announce Hülkenberg F1 deal for 2023, leaving Mick
Hülkenberg?
Schumacher without a seat. So he is actually statistically the least successful Formula One driver of all time, I think.
I actually watched. So I watched the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix on Saturday because it's said to be one of the greatest Grand Prix of all time. I think it is pretty good. Hülkenberg was leading the race. Hülkenberg was leading that race in 2012, like flying. He was ahead of Button and Hamilton, and he just span out. So he would have won in 2012 and probably would have ended up at a really good team. He was at Force India at the time, and he just span out. He just got a bit of water and span out. So yeah, he's just unsuccessful driver.
But Haas are going to have him, so he's going to be the support act for K-Mag.
Yeah, well, K-Mag's fucking shit as well, really.
Yeah, the only good thing about Haas is Gunther Steiner. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true. What's Horn? I did see a tweet from the official Red Bull Twitter page today about the incident at the weekend, and it was Checo saying we've discussed this with the team, and we move on. Max said that he will do whatever he can to get Perez the points he needs to win in Abu Dhabi, and Horner said we are a team. We move forward as a team. So. They've had words.
It sounds political.
Yeah, very political. I think Perez will be out. I think he'll leave. I think they'll find someone that's going to definitely be on side for 2023. Ocon and Alonso had a few battles this weekend as well. Alonso got some speeding, some time added on to his thing, got in trouble with the stewards for causing collisions.
And do you think Alonso's going to be going to Vettel's leaving party?
No.
He's only got one more race.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he'll get to do that thing that Alonso did before, where he got to do like spinny, like donuts on the track?
He did it with Vettel and Hamilton, didn't he? Thank you, bye. And then came back the next year.
And then
I've retired, I promise.
He had a year off. It's like the Rolling Stones just going around doing their farewell tour for like the last 35 years.
Yeah. Well, more like Motley Crue, who have retired and come back 3 times now. They're doing a tour next year, and I definitely won't be going.
Any good observations from the Formula One? Do we think we're going into
Danny Rick?
Abu Dhabi?
Another thing I'm going to miss from Danny Rick is him dancing along to national anthems. He just loves a little bop along to a national anthem, Danny Rick.
I need to listen to the Brazilian national anthem.
I just don't like any national anthems.
Apart from ours. Come on, Ben.
Oh, I don't like ours either.
Oh, I forgot you don't like the monarchy.
I don't like any. I don't think I've heard. I think, never heard of national anthem. I'm glad that's a national anthem. But I'll keep trying to find one. I'll keep trying. We've got 3 American Grand Prix next year.
Yeah,
how that is going to be so shit,
mate. The Air Force are going to be on overtime doing flybys.
Well, apparently Vettel's been very vocal about this in the past, that they want to stop doing things like that because they're meant to be carbon neutral by 2030, and they're sending like planes off in like jets like at the beginning of races and stuff.
Yeah. Is this good for the carbon footprint? Well, we're just going to get loads of jets just to fly past and blitz everyone. Do you know
24 times a year?
Years and years ago, back in the olden days, when they were testing nuclear weapons in the desert, mate, you are the worst person in the world for sounds. Stop jingling keys.
Sorry.
You're making ghost sounds. You've got a loud jacket and now you're jingling keys on a podcast.
I'll get rid of the audio.
Everyone
would go, what's Brad on? Everyone listens to podcasts. What's Brad's on about? I can't hear any of those sounds.
So back in the olden days, when they were testing nuclear weapons in the desert or whatever in Nevada, people would get on buses from Vegas and go out to watch atomic bombs be blown up, right? And they would serve them cocktails called atomic bombs or whatever they were called. And when these things would go off, they would get basically nuclear fallout would spray the people and they'd be covered in nuclear waste. and they'd all go, "Oh, that was fun. That was a fun day out." And that was like in the 50s. And if you Google it and look up the images, it's just people going, ha, 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 covered in nuclear waste.
Did they? There's any like? Was there any update of like how they were 10 years later?
I don't really know, but I'm going to guess they probably didn't have a great end to their life. Nuclear waste, Vegas. Oh, nuclear waste, it's Vegas. Yeah, and they went out there on little bus trips.
I see. The thing is, though, it's like that's such an American like thing to go and watch, isn't it? You go and watch the nuclear bombs go off. Yeah, sure.
Atomic bomb trip.
Yeah. Stroll was a piece of shit all weekend, I thought. They went up to him in the grid race, and he's kind of like just on his phone, like before the race started, and he was like going, "How you like?" Brundle was going like, "Oh no, it wasn't Brundle, it was the other guy, but I don't remember his name." But he was like going up to Stroll, and Stroll's kind of like just scrolling through Instagram while he's interviewing it with his.
I think the thing annoys me about. Yeah, he has got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle teeth, but I think what annoys me about him is that I think most people, when they speak in a certain note. You know, like I've got quite a flat note. Some people got quite high pitch, but Lance Stroll's got a sharp note when he speaks. So yeah, so it's exactly that. It's in between notes. So when you listen to it, you go, "It's hard on my ears. I can't listen to that."
And what he's saying as well, they kind of like it's like they're both high on the annoyance level. It's the sound and what he's saying, how he's saying it. Oh.
Yeah,
and then with the added like nepotism of him being there, it's just like, oh, you're just an annoying prick.
He is. So let's do this. Let's do our predictions for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and we've got no game today. This is the least prepared podcast we've ever done, so we're not expecting this one to be no notes. This is just us chatting, which is probably why it's going to be the worst episode we've ever done.
I don't think it will be. I think it'll just be an episode that we've done.
It's more close to a normal Formula One podcast where we speak about the Formula One more than usual. So let's do our predictions for Abu Dhabi. I think Russell's going to win again. I think the cat's out of the bag. He's got a taste for it. He knows it's possible.
Yeah,
I think they're going to left on a cliffhanger at the end of this year where he goes 2 back-to-back wins, rivalry next year, Verstappen and Russell.
Okay, I see that. I think.
And Latifi's going to come last.
Yeah, I think Latifi will come last. He'll be the last driver finishing the race to actually cross the checker line. I think he'll finish the race this year, unlike last year. I think this is my prediction: Checo, Max, Hamilton, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz, and then Vettel out in the first lap because of Sergio Perez. No, because of Max Verstappen. So Max Verstappen robs Vettel of his last race by being a dick.
Yeah, well, you're not
something like that.
Rain.
It's not going to rain. That's good.
No.
So that's
I saw a thing come up on TikTok because obviously we started our TikTok account that we've now got 7 followers for.
Yes.
Mic drop. And it came up with like you know when it shows you the mini bits and you have to click on it and you see it. It was Latifi when he turned that corner and then blamed the car, and it was like, well, it was like one of those things where someone who's made it doesn't know anything about motorsport, and they were like 10 crazy things that happened in motorsport. This guy turned a corner and blamed the car. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Oh, that might be my favourite thing that happened in 2022. Not just F1.
Yeah,
just like in general.
Do you think that'll make the cut in Drive to Survive?
I don't think Latifi's
not thrilling enough.
No, it's like unless they do like a Williams episode, like about how bad he was bitten. But I just don't think they'll dwell on it because they're like going, there's so much more that's happened this year. I think that unless they're doing a bit about Latifi, which I don't think they will, because they're not going to be like going, oh, I'm fighting for my seat. He from day one hasn't been. He shouldn't have a seat. So
I'll tell you another bit of Williams news. I was watching Bloomberg, and as you do, because I'm a man of business, I was watching
Business,
Bloomberg, and then this advert come on, and it went something like, when you think of kitchen appliances, you don't normally think of Formula One cars.
No, you don't.
But now, and it was like, what's going on? It went British Formula One racing team Williams is allowed, like, basically licensing their technology to go into fridge freezers in America, and it was like bigged them up, like how many championships they've won. I was like, oh, okay, but that's over a very long period of time. They haven't won anything for a while, so apparently their technology is being put into freezers.
They were very good at Formula One when freezer technology was in their infancy. So, yeah.
Well,
technology. What technology is going into it?
Well, maybe I'll do some research next week. Maybe for the game next week, I'll work out weird Formula One collaborations, and you can see whether you think they're true or not. This is it. Williams Formula One technology provides energy savings on the high street. So it's Williams engineers, building fridge freezers. Maybe they should focus more on building good Formula One cars.
Their car is so shit because they've been doing these fridge collabs.
Yeah, need to focus more on the car.
Yeah.
So, anything else we're going to cover this week, Ben? Or are we going to wrap it up?
I think
a half hour.
I think this is a nice.
Well, that was also the shortest episode, the least amount of comedy, the most amount of Formula One information, and the most Williams news we've ever covered.
If you preferred this format, get fucked. Leave a comment.
Do your little like and subscribe, Beg.
Please like, subscribe, review, and share this podcast. It's very important that we grow our numbers, and it gives us incentive to come back next year and deliver
desperate now.
More Formula One content for you at home. Maybe you're on the train and you're thinking, this is the best Formula One content on the internet, because this is the only Formula One content you've looked for on the internet. Anyway, thanks for listening. We've been 3 pre.
2 pre.
2 pre's delivering 3 pre.
2 pre's in a pod. There you go. Yes!
Yes!
Everybody has a target on their backs next year.